Interest rates are kind of an all-time low. Where do you see them going over the next year? And should I try and get refinance my mortgage, or should I wait a little longer?
Yeah, good question. Actually, this has come up several times, and actually, I have something prepared for this. I'll show you. Let me share the screen real quickly, and I'll kind of just demonstrate what I think is happening with interest rates, and hopefully you can see this well here. So, uh, this is a super long-term chart from Yahoo Finance of the 10-year Treasury yield going back to 1961. And you can see here this big giant run up, right? And amazing. And many people in the audience probably can remember, way back when mortgages were, 15 to 18%. And that's because the high point right here was almost 16% on the 10-year Treasury. But if you look from 1981 there till now, we've had just this unbelievable decrease in the yield on the 10-year Treasury. I mean, historic. As a matter of fact, it got all the way down to 0.57% here last August. So all the way through here, we've been refinancing as you know, because the 10-year treasury and mortgage rates are fairly tied together. You probably could add 2 or 3% to the 10-year treasury and probably be pretty close to what mortgage rate might be when you go to do a refinance or a new purchase. And so I've seen several different situations where people have asked me, what they should do. Here's what I see right now, though. We've come from a 0.5% almost all the way up to, if you look right now, it's 1.63%, just in a really short period, literally since August. And the pressure on price increases right now is really unprecedented. There's trillions of dollars of pent up demand that's going to be released into the economy here. You throw in the stimulus, you throw in the infrastructure plan, you throw in the American, families plan. I mean, just unbelievable amount of pressure on prices because there's so much, money coming into the system. And what that means is that usually rates go up. And if you look here, heck, the 10-year treasury was 3% back in, 2000, end of 2018, here again, in end of 2013. So you're looking at, kind of a 5% mortgage, 5.5% mortgage rates, in those timeframes, most likely. It's pretty likely that we kind of move towards that. It does get a little bit more complicated when you really think about all the things that are happening that are driving interest rates because here in the US we're reopening fairly quickly and we're seeing fantastic earnings and revenue growth, but it's not happening all around the world. And that makes a difference because if you're in Germany right now, they're having some problems with the virus, mainly because their vaccine hasn't been coming out as fast. And their 10-year treasury right now is negative 0.3%. So you actually have to pay them to hold on to the money. So if you have a choice between a German 10-year treasury or a U.S. 10-year treasury, I would choose the U.S. treasury because it's paying 1.6%. Japan is at 0.1% on their 10-year treasury, same issue. So really to see sustained, growth inside of these yields, you need to see some growth in the yields around the world, which really probably means we need a better distribution of the vaccine. Situation that's happening in India really is an eye opener. So that would keep rates down as far as that goes. But then we have all the stimulus coming in on the other side, and they have to issue new bonds, which makes rates go up. So I suspect with the pressure of reopening and the pressure of stimulus and the reopening that will start to happen by the end of this year, you're going to see higher interest rates, and that means higher mortgage rates. So if you're going to refinance or buy a house, I would really be looking at trying to do that, before September, October, before things start to get pretty hot, and maybe even earlier than that. But that's what I'd be watching is this 10-year treasury, just to kind of get an idea of what might be happening. And again, we are at historic lows and very close to that, even still, even after this movement up. And so we have a chance that, we're going to see mortgages come up. So if you do want to refinance, now's the time. They've just come down a little bit too, so could be a good chance.